Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to thank you for tuning in. If you don't mind, give me a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. I do these videos because I work in the paddle industry, and the reason I started this channel was to get information out. There's a lot of bad information out there or incorrect information. Not saying I'm perfect, but I have access to these. That's all I do is paddle sports and paddle sports retail. But anyways, hope we get some value out of the channel. And if you have any questions or want to see something else, or maybe some more details on what I've already posted, let me know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Doing a walkthrough on the Coosa X. So from Jackson Kayak. The Coosa X has been it was met with a little bit of hesitation from a lot of customers when they heard it was coming out, because it was replacing a really popular kayak, being the Coosa HD. Some people were kind of scuffing at it a little bit. You know, they may not have been maybe a little unsure of it. We've sold a lot of these here, and the customers have really loved the performance of this kayak. So I'm going to go over it with you. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on some of those concerns that were out there, who this kayak is meant for, maybe who could benefit from a different kayak. It's not, you know, just like anything else, it's not a perfect kayak. It's not meant for everybody, but it's got a particular purpose in mind here. So without further ado, there's the Coosa X. Again, this is a 23 model. I did do a video that I'll show up in the description up here, where I did a Coosa X versus a Coosa HD video. But for right now, I just want to do the walkthrough on the actual Coosa X, spend some time on this, because again, the differences I talk about in that previous video, if you'll check that one out. But if you're familiar with Jackson's lineup, both now and in the past, I like to consider this as, if you're familiar with the big rig, you know, both the HD and the pedal drive version, this is a big rig HD with a maybe twice the paddling power. It's gonna be very responsive on the water. It's a very fast paddling kayak. It is a heavy kayak, so if you're not too concerned with the weight of the kayak, this is really worth a look. A lot of nice features on this boat, a lot of new features from Jackson. It's very unique to the kayaking industry, but kind of some things that maybe weren't understood. You know, and honestly, Jackson may not have done the best job in marketing it, but I really feel like this kayak is one of their best that they've done in a long time, and I'll let you know why. So I'm just going to start here at the nose. So fabric, comfort grip handle. It's very comfortable on the hands. I will say though, I probably would have preferred them doing maybe a harder handle, because we all have experience with these, and water and sunlight will do some crazy things to nylon fabric. So keep that in mind. If you do buy this, by any means, don't make the decision on this kayak based just on the handles. These are like $10 for two of them. It just wouldn't hurt to maybe have an extra set just in case something happens. But saying that's a very small investment. It's very easy to replace that. So you'll see really nice nose on there, very reminiscent of the big rig, kind of that rounded style. It still cuts through the water really nicely, but this boat really sits on top of it. So it's going to skim really nicely on top of the water. You'll also see here, you have small gear track, and then you've got these little divots where you can drill through. That's for your weight, or your anchor management system. So your anchor wizard, any kind of anchor setups, you can run it off the gear track here. You can run your line through it and then drop it right off the side. Another thing that I feel like is not talked about enough, it does have a little bit, see this ridge here? You have a flat area. That's going to be for you guys that are curious on running that bow mount trolling motor setup. So you can do that on these. You can also, again, the hatch is enormous on this thing. So if you like stuffing stuff into your hatch, camping gear, dry bags, you know, maybe some clothes from earlier in the day, that is huge, and I hope that really comes through on the video here. There's my large hands, but again, that much larger than the Coosa HD. Also, you can notice the lip is raised quite a bit off the deck. That's going to help prevent a lot of that water from finding its way in there. Because again, this is meant for your moving water, your creeks, maybe some adventurous water. That's what it's meant for. So you're going to get some water across the bow there. You've got these little gunnels. It's going to funnel it out. And then also your kind of angled deck. So it's going to funnel that into these little drainage ditches and into your scupper holes. Another thing that's standard on Jackson kayaks, you do have that little pad eye for your stand-up assist strap. You do have the same pad eyes here on the edges. That's going to allow you to run a much more robust strap across it if you want to store stuff on top. Think about that as cam straps or some ratchet straps, anything like that. Really nice rubberized paddle stager here. You slide your blade through there. It also will keep you quiet. So the deck here. Now the deck to me is the star of the kayak. Again, I talked about it in that previous video. They've made the gunnels really thin. Again, when I say thin, they're thinner than you would see, you know, on the Coosa HD there. What that does, that gives you a lot more room in the deck. So think about foot space. You want gear there. This boat was also meant to kind of fly fish from. So again, I like to consider the Coosa X kind of, if you're familiar with the Mayfly, they discontinued the Mayfly. This is going to be your Coosa HD, your Mayfly, and your big rig kind of rolled up into one package. And it's not going to be as cumbersome as the big rig was to paddle around. It's going to have a good paddle performance like the Coosa HD did, but you got a lot more room. You have that open space. So if you're wanting to fly fish from it like you would the Mayfly, you can that's why they did these removable foot pedals on the middle. Having them here opens this part up so you can run your rod tip protectors. You can run your rod system through the side there. And also, if you're fly fishing, you're going to probably want to take these off, and your deck is nice and smooth. So that's going to allow you to run your fly rod, and you're not going to have anything tangling up in your fly line that you have laying on the deck there too. So another really nice feature that doesn't get talked about as much, I feel like, and it really kind of deserves the attention there. A lot like the Take 2, you've got the gunnel, and you see these little pad eyes here. That's where you can run your wiring for your transducer. You can run it underneath that to kind of keep it from getting out on the deck. And then there's your transducer scupper mount. It's got the recessed area underneath it where you can attach your transducer, and it's pretty large there too, guys. So you got your tri-track on both sides. Jackson says you got about 11 foot of total track on this kayak. So that's going to be plenty for any kind of accessories, anything. It comes with a little paddle clip. So they got a little bungee clip that goes into the side of it. You've got the tackle bin you can get for this, like you see on the NAR. You got the side mount cup holders. You can mount your fish finder. There's a lot of things you can do with this tri-track. So same Jackson seat. Again, I don't say same as in it's basic. That's one of the best seats in my opinion. It is camp chair rated, so you can remove that from the kayak and throw it up on the beach, campsite, take a load off. Again, you're doing something that chair was designed to do. You can trim the seat forward and backward. Again, I encourage you to do that with a kayak that has that option because it's a different handling kayak in a different seating position. So if you're on moving water, you want the nose up a little bit to kind of make it handle a little bit more loose. Again, do that. If you're on calm flat water like a lake, bring it forward, level your boat weight out a little bit. Or if you got a lot of gear in the back, you want to level it out. It's going to track a lot better. It's going to perform a lot better on that calm water. So the controversy, again, with this boat was removal of the rear hatch. So again, you see that there on the Coosa HD. In my opinion, the Coosa HD hatch on the rear end was so small, it was really more of an access hatch. You've got the access hatch right there, but that tank well is extremely large. That's a larger tank well than you had on the big rig or really any other Jackson kayak, maybe the exception of the NAR. You still got the drag chain and anchor setup that you had on the Coosa HD. It's got a little bit of a wider square mount, so that's going to handle your little bit more powerful trolling motor setups. Again, and it's robust. So you do have the molded handle on the back. if you're concerned with, putting it in the back of a pickup or anything like that, what I usually do, I run the straps on the back rings by the cab, go through the hole. That prevents the kayak from going in and out. And after that, you can just throw a strap over the top just to kind of secure it in place. I'd really stay away from running any kind of major strap on that front handle. Not that it can't handle it, but it's not if it's going to happen, it's going to be when. And this is going to be a better way, a strap over the top and then one through this molded in handle. It's going to be a better way to secure it. And really, honestly, it takes a lot less engineering degree to get that secured. So it's super easy, super quick. I just feel it's the best way to do that. In the back here, you do have the flush mount rod holders in addition to the rod tip protectors and the towers that hold the rods in. Again, plenty of room for your 16 by 16 black pack, maybe your battery if you're running your trolling motor on the front or back. But guys, really, my opinion, this is really one of their better kayaks. Now, I'll say this, it's $18.99, which is not the biggest deal. It is 98 pounds, so it is a heavier kayak. But honestly, if you're a Jackson fan, if you paddle Jackson, you know Jackson likes to make a heavier kayak. But the weight capacity being 425 pounds, I'm not going to sell it to you as far as the ability, but Chris Funk did a video on this kayak where he put 525 pounds in the kayak, and the water wasn't even coming up over the scupper holes yet. So that's 100 pounds over the advertised weight capacity, and that kind of goes along with what I always say is Jackson's very conservative on their weight capacities, and honestly, I think that's a really good safety feature. So don't let that steer you too far away from it if you're putting in a little closer to that 425 capacity. Is it going to handle differently if you got it absolutely loaded down? Of course it is, but it's not going to sink as soon as you hit that rate. So keep that in mind. A lot of these manufacturers do weight capacities differently. Some of you know that. A little bit of research will tell you a little bit about that as well. Jackson's, I feel like you get a conservative number on the weight capacity, and you're not having to worry about factoring the weight of the kayak. That's paddler plus gear. So you bigger guys that are looking for a river kayak or a lake kayak, something you can rig up for tournament fishing, guys, I think that's really the one for you. If you like Jackson kayak, I do. I'm a bigger guy. I don't mind a heavy boat. I do a lot of lake fishing, and I do some river fishing too, but to me, you're going to get into a heavier boat when you're into kayak fishing. So consider doing like a trolley system or a wildy cart, a kayak cart, maybe even landing gear. And, some people are even doing used jet ski trailers. So keep that in mind too. But again, I think once the dust settles on the initial run through of this, I think this is going to be one of the more popular boats out there. If you have a paddle shop close to you, you owe it to yourself to do a demo in this, take it out, really kind of put it through the test. I'm going to be doing a on the water demonstration of this boat and an RVR side by side, the RVR from Bonafide. What do I like? What do I like about one? What do I like about the other? But I'm looking forward to doing that and giving that to you guys. But anyways, that's it on the Coosa X. If you have any questions on this, let me know in the comments. If you have experience with this kayak, let us know. Again, if somebody's looking at this and they don't have access to it, maybe some of your feedback can help them with that, just like this video has, hopefully. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.